He's a tough street-fighting lawyer with the highest ratings for honesty and integrity. He's here for you every Saturday morning to answer your legal questions and get you the help you need. You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram of Ingram Law, live from the studios of News Radio 105.5 WERC. Call in now, 439-9372. That's 439-9372, and ask Joe your legal question, or email the show at questions@joeingramlaw.com. Joe Ingram has more than 20 years experience fighting for his clients here in the state of Alabama. Joe's focus is criminal defense and family law. You don't have to face your legal issue alone. You've got Joe Ingram, Birmingham's lawyer, on your side. In case of sensitive legal matters, you can always reach out directly to Joe at joeingramlaw.com and arrange for a private consultation. And now, Birmingham's defender of the defenseless, protector of the people, and all-around good guy, Joe Ingram.
All right. This is Joe Ingram, the Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, the road running street lawyer, here for you in the house today. Today's March the 8th, 2025. It's about 60 degrees outside. When we started this show, it was 29 degrees. We were freezing to death. We made it. Springtime. We made it. Tomorrow is daylight savings time. This is my time of year. We got a lot of good news this week, locally and nationally, to talk about. This is the Legal Lowdown, 105.5 FM WERC. The phone number is 205-439-9372, 205-439-WERC. You can email us at the show, questions@joeingramlaw.com, questions@joeingramlaw.com. You can call the office if it is a sensitive nature, 205-335-2640, 205-335-2640. You can speak with Holly. You can speak with Intake. We will talk to you about the case if you do not want to discuss it on air. This show is built to be funny, educational, informative, and caller-driven with you in mind. We hope you're having your first cup of coffee this morning, getting ready to take the kids out. Maybe you are getting ready to start your spring break week. Everybody has spring fever that I know in my office, and it's a great time of year that we made it in the South through winter, because we're not built for winter down here. We have two seasons. We have hot, and then we have a mild winter. That's all we have down here. And so that's what we have. It's 6:08, March the 8th. A little bit about me. This is the Legal Lowdown. Joe Ingram, Birmingham's lawyer. We handle municipal court. We handle state criminal court. We do divorce court. And we handle all types of civil and criminal legal work. We also handle board matters. We represent physicians, dentists, pharmacists, dental hygienists, nursing home administrators. Anybody that has a license in the state of Alabama, we represent those folks in front of the licensing boards in Montgomery. And if you read the legislation that was out last week before the state Senate, they're trying to pass a new law in Montgomery to do away with all these licensing commission boards and send it to the Attorney General's office. I think that's a bad idea, folks. The people that sits on these boards are self-policing boards. Doctors watch the doctors. Dentists watch the dentist. Nurses watch the nurses. Nurse practitioners watch the nurse practitioners. And so on and so forth. It's not a bad model. Do mistakes happen? Yes, mistakes happen every day. But I don't think you throw the baby out with the bathwater and rebuild the system. So we'll talk a bit about that. Municipal court cases are everything from DUI, domestic violence, possession of a controlled substance, Um, just a bad day at Flat Rock is what municipal court is about. And unfortunately, it falls on the least of these that end up in municipal court. And most people do not have retained counsel, and they should. And it's sad because I watch it every week. They go to court. They don't have a lawyer. They end up spending 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of their day sitting in a courtroom. And these are people that need to be out working because they make the least of the money in society. State criminal court cases, we handle those from Huntsville, Birmingham, Montgomery, Mobile, Tuscaloosa, Dothan area. East to west, north to south. We go all the way over to Limestone County. We go all the way down to Washington County. We do down in Andalusia, Escambia County. In fact, I had a case this week, a divorce case, that was supposed to be in Houston County. And Monday morning, I love this. This is what you get when you have 24-hour filing of pleadings in a courthouse. The counsel on the other side said, I agree with Mr. Ingram. The case shouldn't be in Houston County. I think we should move it to Coffee County. I thought I was getting up and getting dressed to go to going to Houston County. And my client calls me and says, Joe, are we going to court? I said, not today. We're going to court in about a month, but we're going to go to Coffee County. Anyway, so there's that. And we handle divorce cases, north, south, east, west, high-end divorces, physicians, engineers, doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, people that run businesses, people that have assets to divide, and people that need a fair division of assets. We handle cases that involve custody, child support, alimony, and all that entails and implies. We also handle uncontested divorces. And ladies and gentlemen, I have never seen a case, rarely is it strictly an uncontested divorce, where we just say, hey, you take yours, I take mine, let's walk away. That is in the realm of people that get divorced that have been married less than 5 years, and they just decide they can't live together. And it happens. And we do a lot of those as well for people. So we do municipal court, state criminal court, divorce court. And that's our calling card. We are the lawyers in the room. At 6:13, if you're just getting up, have your cup of coffee, this is the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram on the south side of UAB. The good news is it's warmer weather, so we can get out and run longer in the afternoons if you get away from the office late. We've had a great week. We had lots of calls. We've had lots of business. We are behind. We are working 7 days a week to stay caught up right now. And that's not a problem to have. Those are good problems to have. We have a new producer in the room, and she looks so happy over there. She's awake. She's laughing. Did you have your coffee? She had her coffee. She's been told not to speak to me, so I won't bother her. But we're looking forward to having her in the room with us on our journey. So divorces. That was our calling card from December through January into February through Valentine's season. So I got to thinking last night about the most expensive divorces in history. This is what I came up with. You ready for this? Now, some of these are dated. You remember Bill and Melinda Gates, right? $80 billion. $80 billion. $80 billion. And she didn't walk away with a lot. This is from 1980. Mick Jagger. Mick's been married, 7, 8, 10 times. He's got like 25 kids. Mick Jagger and Bianca. The last name I'm on a butcher. Macias? I butchered it. Anyway, 1980, $2.5 million. I think Jacker today is worth like $2-3 billion. So he got off cheap on that one. Anyway, Hulk Hogan. Remember Hulk Hogan when he was on MTV? Hogan's House. What'd they call it? I don't know. Anyway, 2009, $10 million. And by the way, both of his kids went bad after the divorce. One of his children had a DUI case and I think killed his buddy in the car and did some time in prison. If he didn't go to prison, I know they paid a huge settlement to that person in the car with him. You'll remember this case. This happened either right before or right after COVID. Matt Lauer of the Today Show. Matt Lauer, Annette Roquette. I can't ever say her last name. Roquette? Yeah. They were New York royalty elitist. He made $25 million at the Today Show. They flew him from Southampton into New York so that he didn't have to stay in New York, even though he had a New York apartment for his activities. Let's put it that way. It cost Matt Lauer $20 million to get a divorce. And they had a huge horse farm in Southampton. I mean, a huge horse farm. That's a big deal in the Hamptons, a horse farm. Yeah. And he also owns a piece of property in, it's not Australia. Oh, what is it called? It's some island, Ritzy Island. I'll look it up. Anyway, my producer's looking at me and she's going, where do you get this stuff? This is what you do at night when you have to get ready for a show. Here's a big one. Michael Douglas. You remember him? Yeah. Michael Douglas. I think this was his second wife, the one he had his children with. DeAndrea Luker. $45 million. And then he moved to Catherine Zeta-Jones. And did you know that they have the same birthday? Even though they're I think they're like 20, 25 years apart. They're born on the same day. Interesting, isn't it? And he has twins with Catherine Zeta-Jones. Catherine is beautiful. She is gorgeous, by the way. This is relevant. You remember this. And here's what's so fascinating about this. All these happened like yesterday, but they didn't. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. Maria Shriver. How much do you think that cost? 40. You're so off. 200 million. 200 million. He had a huge real estate portfolio from all of his movies. And Shriver had Kennedy money, the Kennedy compound money. It took them 8 to 10 years to actually do a divorce because she was high in the Catholic Church. And if you're in the Catholic Church, you don't believe in divorce. And so it took a long time for her to get there, but she finally did it. Interesting, isn't it? You're going to like this one. Mel Gibson. The Passion, the big Easter movie, right? Right? Mel Gibson, famous movie star. Now, this was his first wife. And Mel had, I think, 7 children with her. Mel has a huge number of children. 400 million. No prenup. 400 million. Now, I would say she earned every bit of it. Because I think the Passion of the Christ made like $3.2 billion, some outrageous number. I mean, off the chart number. So 400 million is not even not even a third. And he's done well after. So he's recovered in the news. Oh, Amazon. Now you'll know this one. Jeff Bezos, Mackenzie Scott, $38 billion. $38 billion. She didn't take that much. A lot of hers was in Amazon stock, as is his and his parents. And Mackenzie has already had one boyfriend, or she married him. She's already given away $4 billion. I'm not giving $4 billion away. I'm a charitable guy, but I'm not giving you $4 billion. I don't know. That's just personal opinion. So that's just divorces I thought about over the last 10 or 15, 20 years. Oh, and the guy we talked about last week or two, you weren't here, Kevin Costner, he got divorced last year. His wife left him, and she thought she was going to tattoo him. She wanted to move up because Kevin's getting old, even though he's a good-looking man for his age. He's taking care of himself. He works hard. He works around the clock. What's that show? Yellowstone, something like that? Yeah. Kevin's second divorce. This is why the third wife didn't get nothing. Kevin got a prenup. His second divorce cost him $80 million. Third wife didn't get nothing. I mean, she got literally nothing. She got the clothes on her back. They said, go find a house and get out. He wised up. So we do a lot of postnups. We do a lot of prenups. And it matters. And when you have those kind of assets, it's worth it to do it. You can either pay me now or you can pay me later. And if you pay me later, it's going to cost you double. So why not get a postnup or a prenup? Makes good sense. You might have those kind of assets. And a lot of people today are getting married older. People are not getting married at 18. People aren't getting married at 22 right out of college. People aren't getting married at 25 or 26 when they get out of professional school. People are getting married at 28. It's reversed now. People get together, they have children, they co-parent, and they don't even get married. They just have a child together. It's a little backwards. And my personal opinion is you have to take a test to get a driver's license. Why should you not have to take a test to get married? What do you think about that? I think you should have to take a test before you get married. And I think it's a given that you should have to do some premarital counseling, because you don't know someone until you live with them. And once you live with them, you learn everything about them. The first year I was married, me and my wife, I like to leave my shoes all over the house. And my wife would say, Joe, your shoes go in the closet. And I would say, well, I'm going to wear that shoe when I leave the house. And she'd say, well, yeah, it has a place to go. You put it in the closet. And she would pick up my shoes. Toothbrushes. This is a big one. My wife brushes her teeth one way. I brush my teeth another way. It's taken me years to get used to how we brush our teeth. Little things like that. How you put clothes in the closet. All these things matter. Anyway, this is Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, the Birmingham lawyer, running street lawyer here for you. I hope you're having your first cup of coffee, talking to us at 624 AM, 1055 FM WERC. We handle cases from Huntsville, Birmingham, Montgomery, Tuscaloosa, Mobile, and the Dothan area. So give us a call if you'd like to talk to us, or you can do questions at joeingramlaw.com, questions at joeingramlaw.com. We just talked about some of the most famous national divorce settlements in the last 30 or 40 years. And we didn't even talk about Rupert Murdoch of Fox News. Woo! A lot of money there. Huge money. Ungodly money. But when you have Fox News, You run the world, essentially, right now. Oh, and by the way, Matt Lauer. Did you know that Matt Lauer's about to make a comeback? CNN is thinking about giving him a show. Matt Lauer. Everybody gets a comeback. That's the greatest thing about America. You can fall on the sword. You can ask for forgiveness. You can go away. You can come back and have another day. We are a very forgiving society. So that covers some divorce cases in the news. We will talk about some criminal cases in the news. Casey Anthony, you remember that name? Yeah, she's in the news this week. I had to look it up. Can you believe that's been 17 years ago? That's unreal. That was pre 2008, the housing crisis. I forgot about that. 17 years ago. Casey Anthony is back. The mother of the year, giving legal advice. Anyway, that's a story in of itself. So we'll talk about that when we come back. So we're going to go to break here in about 3 minutes. This is the Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram, 105.5 FM, WERC. You can call us 205-439-WERC, 205-439-9372. You can listen to us on our podcast on iHeartRadio or the Legal Lowdown on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast. Give us a shout out, or you can look us up on the web, joeingramlaw.com, joeingramlaw.com. And that's where we start today. The most expensive divorces in the last 30 years. I would go get a prenup. And if you see problems in your marriage already, infidelity, stealing assets, go get a post-up. Get a reset. It'll save you legal fees in the end. That's what I would do if I were you. So that's where we start today. When we come back, we're going to talk about some big-time criminal cases in the news, nationally and locally. There's some great legislation going on before the state Senate right now. And we're going to talk about the number of legislation days left in this calendar and what's coming up. Pam Bondi was in the news again this week about the Epstein files. Did you see that? You didn't see that? I think they're going to release the list before June 1st. And here's why. All the politicians leave the last week of June. The Supreme Court gets out. Everybody goes away. Okay, we're about to go to break in a minute. Everybody's telling me to shut up. We're going to come back after the break. It's 6:28. Go have some coffee. We'll talk about the local events of the day, where you should be. Bang, did you go to the chili cook-off last week? Did you enjoy it? Was it good? Really good? He says it was 100%. Okay. And you got your Bang? He says it's in the fridge. Okay. And it's Bang this morning. All right. We'll be back in a minute, folks. It's 6:28 on the South Side, 105.5 FM. We'll be back after news and weather. Thank you.
You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram. If you need confidential legal help off air, reach out to Joe at joeingramlaw.com. Stay tuned for more. Joe will be right back after this break for news and weather on News Radio 105.5 WERC.
Hundreds of stone-top countertops to choose from at wholesale prices. IGSgranite.com.
Doge. You've been watching Doge.
The Department of Government Efficiency.
Doge is using a meat axe.
As we're finding savings.
Savings. A lot. Billions and billions of dollars. And they're saving.
Saving.
What we can save you.
How about daylight?
Daylight saving.
Time to save daylight.
Is time.
They're doing a hell of a job.
When you lose an hour,
The clocks spring ahead.
you'll need it.
Time to find out what they're doing.
Saving time.
Everything you need to know all the time.
And this is an incredible time.
News Radio 1055 WERC.
Boating season is almost here, and so are free classes on boating safety. Jim Faraday reports Alia is offering the free classes.
Officials with the Marine Patrol Division say the free hands-on classes provide instruction about important issues faced by boaters on Alabama waterways. Citizens completing the Boating Basics course receive a certificate and will have the rating Vessel Class added to their Alabama driver's license. Children aged 12 or older are eligible for a vessel license. For more information or to enroll in a class, visit the Marine Patrol Division at alia.gov. I'm Jim Faraday.
The University of Alabama is pushing back against anti-DEI laws targeting colleges. University attorneys argue in a lawsuit filed Friday that course content and classroom instruction are government speech subject to regulation by the university and not interest groups or the courts. I'm Charlie O'Brien, and this is Birmingham's news, traffic, and weather station, News Radio 1055, WERC.
A mostly cloudy sky today, a high near 68, a few showers in the afternoon, a better chance for rain overnight and into tomorrow morning, maybe a rumble of thunder, lows in the 40s, and don't forget about the time change as we spring ahead 1 hour for daylight saving time. Highs around 60 tomorrow, cloudy with showers, a low near 40 with more showers tomorrow night and into early Monday, highs on Monday in the 60s. I'm WBRC First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt on your side.
Right now, it's 58 degrees at Birmingham's news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 1055 WERC.
News Radio 1055 WERC. Make us the #1 preset on your car radio and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. Listen for all your music radio and podcasts. Free never sounded so good.
You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram. Joe is a 20-year veteran of the Alabama courts, specializing in criminal defense and family law. Call in live with your questions now at 439-9372. That's 439-9372. Or write Joe with your question for the show at questions@joeingramlaw.com. If you need a private legal consultation, email Joe at joeingramlaw.com. Now, welcome back to The Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram.
All right. March the 8th, 2025. This is Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, Birmingham's lawyer. 1055 FM, WERC, 205-439-9372, 205-439-WERC. Or you can call the office, 205-335-2640, 205-506-5590, or 659-306-3696, or 205-825-5297. We got more phone numbers than a drug dealer on speed dial. And if you call the office, you can speak with Holly, our intake specialist. They'll take care of you. They do great work. Bang is this is Bang's last week. Next week. Oh, I thought today was last week. And Bang's replacement is M. M's in the house, and she's awake. Halfway awake, drinking her coffee. So we have M, and Bang's leaving. I'm not going to give you a go-away party of Bang. Cotton candy. I had never had one of those. I'm not doing that. Anyway, it's funny. It's funny. Before we talk about criminal news, we were talking about a case out of South Carolina. The guy was on death row. Alabama used to use the yellow mama. It's what we called her. You just put them in the chair and you electrocute them to death. Kind of like the Green Mile. Now we've got death by lethal injection. We have nitric oxide. South Carolina, firing squad, bullet to the head. There was a firing squad yesterday in South Carolina. This gentleman, this person, his ex-girlfriend, he killed her parents with a baseball bat. Anyway, and we were thinking, well, how many shots does it take to kill you? And how many shots do you fire before you stop? And I looked it up. I think it's 3 bullets. You only need 1. Oh, and they only stand 15 feet away. So I don't know if they're firing like military style shells or 9mm. I would imagine it's a rifle shell. I don't know. Not sure about that. But I think it only takes 1 to get you. And so we were trying to decide, pick your poison. Do you die by lethal injection or do you take a bullet to the head? I'm not sure which one I would want to do. I don't want to think about that right now. I don't think any of us have that problem. And that brings up another thought I have about criminal cases, child pornography cases. We passed some new laws in the last 10 or 12 years federally for federal legislation. If you are convicted of possessing or dissemination of child porn and you go to prison and you do a period of time and you come out, they put you on probation for a long, long time. Usually it's 5 years of supervised probation, and then it's 20 years of unsupervised probation, where they just keep track of you to make sure you're not on the internet or you're alone with children. And all this, folks, I'm not advocating that they shouldn't have to do this. They should. But the U.S. Probation Office can make you take a polygraph. Not even schedule it. Just say, we need you to come in and take a polygraph and see where you are on the spectrum. And if you fail that polygraph, they may give you a second polygraph. And if you fail it, they're probably going to file to revoke your federal probation and send you back to federal prison. And that might be a good thing to do. But there's a lot of people that can't pass a polygraph because they have anxiety issues. When you put the tools on somebody for a polygraph, do you know what they use? They put a thing on your pointer finger. They put a harness around your chest. They are measuring your blood pressure cuff. They have pedals on your feet to measure your heart rate and the bottoms of your feet. And it's pretty intense. So taking a polygraph is pretty scary. And you're saying, well, Joe, if you tell the truth, you have nothing to be afraid of. That's not true. There are people that are telling the truth that can't pass a polygraph any day of the week. That's something to think about. Just something to think about. Anyway, it's 6:39 on Saturday morning, March the 8th. Tomorrow is daylight savings time. We made it through winter. Thank goodness. It's our time of year in the South. Criminal cases in the news this week. Richard Scrushy. You remember him? Richard and Leslie Scrushy. They were back in Montgomery Thursday, standing on the courthouse steps. Richard Scrushy is asking to have his case wiped off the map. And his wife, Leslie, her calling card to the news was, when the government prosecuted my husband with Government Don Siegelman, they finished the case for the government on June the 6th, 2006. 666. She accused the government of being the devil. I don't think they planned it that way, Miss Scrushy. I just think that was how the days fell on the map. Not 666. It just worked out that way. And, but they were in Montgomery Thursday for that. Anyway, locally in the news, for legal news, the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission. This is 4 years in the making. 4 years since we set up the Cannabis Board to hand out prescriptions for medical marijuana. We have not written the first prescription yet. We have been fighting in court for 4 years. Yesterday, the Court of Civil Appeals came out, handed down a decision. And all of the licenses that have been passed out to date are now going to be reviewed by an ALJ, Administrative Law Judge. Joe, what is that? An ALJ is someone appointed by the court to act as the court to review cases. And if you don't like that, you can still appeal to circuit court or to the Court of Civil Appeals or to the court or the Alabama Supreme Court. Needless to say, Montgomery is full of money, lobbyists, and politicians. Some of these people that got licenses don't even live in this state. Joe, how do you know that? Joe, how would you know that? Well, I have followed the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission for the last 4 years. I've seen the people, it's on the website, who have been granted the licenses. Some people don't even live in this state. And so they're going to review everybody that has a license, and they're going to review everybody that didn't get a license, and they may change some of this. So if you have one of those kind of cases and you need representation, we have written about that on my website, on our legal blogs. We have helped people with those cases. Give us a call. We will be glad to talk to you about representation in those cases. This is Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, 1055 FM WERC. Phone number is 205-439-9372, 205-439-WERC. You can call the office, 205-335-2640, or you can look at us up on the web, joeingramlaw.com. And so we've talked about the Cannabis Commission. Now we're going to talk about the red flag laws. You know what those are? No, I don't. Do you care? No, I don't. Yeah, I care. You do care about this. This is important. Red flag laws. If you own a gun, depressed, anxiety, not doing well, lost your job, lost your family, you can call a ball on yourself. You can call a strike on yourself. You can say, I need to turn my guns in right now. Not doing real well. Red flag laws. It's a good law. You agree? Yeah. I absolutely think it's a good law. Not doing well. I don't need to own a gun right now. Here's the drawback. If you turn your guns in, you think you get them back that easy? Probably not. I would ask, what's changed that you need your gun back? Did you get a job? Did you get a new girlfriend? Did you get a new boyfriend? Did you get a divorce? What's changed that you need your gun back? And if we give you your gun back and you do something, then it's on us. He turned his guns in. He said he had problems. We sort of checked him out. He got his guns back. Then he did a mass suicide. Death by suicide. Killed everybody. Like down at Tuskegee. Something like that. These are all tough questions to ask under legal issues. You agree? Yeah, she agrees. She's smarter than me. So red flag laws, I don't know. That's a toughie on all sides of the subject to think about. Anyway, that is House Bill 409, folks, in the Alabama legislature. If you follow that, I encourage everybody to follow Alabama legislation laws. We don't have that many days left of legislation before the term ends. And most of these bills that get talked about in committee never make it to the floor to a vote, and they don't become law. But they stay in the news, and they may become law at some point in time. Hoover, River Chase Galleria. I remember when that was built. I remember when that opened. It's kind of dead right now. Hoover has authorized $200,000 for a study redevelopment, and they're thinking about using it to make it a medical complex. We've got Grandview, we have Brookwood, we have, what's the other hospitals? Princeton out in Bessemer. We have UAB, obviously. They're the largest employer in the state. They own downtown Birmingham, UAB. Not sure that we need another medical complex in Hoover, but it's too valuable of land just to totally knock it down and start over. And I don't know that we need to put residential people there. Maybe mixed use, commercial residential. You know, that's the new thing we're going to. Residential and commercial. Something to think about. I don't know. These are all things to think about. Anyway, I forgot to mention our sponsor, top of the hour, Spy for Rent, Spy for Rent, Spy for Rent. If you need an investigator, Jeff Hammock, Corey the Investigator, call them on speed dial. They are the best. They work for me like nobody's business, and they have worked around the clock for the last 2 or 3 weeks. And thank you, gentlemen. You are the best at what you do. And I either know that Jeff is out there or Corey is about to go to work right now on a Saturday morning to either deliver papers or check somebody out, investigate them. So Spy for Rent is who you need if you need an investigator. They can do cell phone searches. They even did a house the other day. They did a bug search. They searched the entire house for bugs. That's not cheap either. That costs money. Bug Suite. That's cheap. So if you need an investigator, Spy for Rent are your people. Oh, there's a case down in Mobile. Post office. Do you like the post office? You do? No, you don't. Nobody likes the post office. Don't put anything in the mail because it'll never get there. They throw it in the garbage. There's a postal worker that pled guilty and was sentenced in Mobile this week, the Southern District of Alabama. He put $17 million of checks in his pocket and went home. Go figure. You're thinking, why would you do that? Why do you do that in 2025? I'm serious. I don't put anything in the mail. We either do electronic mail, we do carrier, courier, things like that. Post office is almost obsolete now. Oh, and here's what's something that's not obsolete. My wife and I were talking about this last Saturday. And you probably know this because we're from a different generation. And I have to keep up on things. Target has home delivery now of food. Did you know that? Yeah. My grandparents during the Depression got milk and eggs and sugar delivered to their house by horse and carriage. Now, Target is delivering your food back to your house. And guess how much it costs a year to have Target to do that? $179 to get a year membership. That's cool, isn't it? They're going to bring your food to your house. You don't have to leave. You don't have to go to Target. You know that? I learned that last week. That's cool. That is cool. It's cheap. Yeah, it's cheaper than gas for a year. 100%. Yeah. M's clued in over here. She won't talk on the air. She's been forbidden to talk on the air. Anyway, M and I are going to get along fine. But I thought that was funny about the post office carrier, because the post office, that is the only entity on earth. Do you know how many times a year they raise the cost of a stamp? At least 4 or 6 times a year. Stamps going up. Costs more to deliver a stamp. Why? It doesn't get there. It goes up a penny. Well, how much is a stamp now? 58, 57 cents? You're going to look at that. It doesn't get there. It ain't worth 58 cents. That's something to think about. Local news this week. If you're going out on 73 cents for a stamp. 73 cents for a stamp. That's almost $1. Oh my goodness. How recent is that? That's pretty recent. Jeez. Man, 73 stamps. 73 cents a stamp. Okay. Anyway, set up your bills. Everybody has electronic billing now. I don't think anybody gets paper bills. And if you're smart, you put everything on one card, like your American Express card, and then you just make one payment a month. It's all there. Food to think about. Oh, someone just texted in, Target and Publix does it too. Publix is delivering groceries as well. I don't know how much. Maybe they'll text back in. So there you go. We've gone back from the horse and buggy from Mayberry to a huge van that's air conditioned, bringing your groceries. Can't beat that. Okay. If you're looking for something to do, folks, in the greater Birmingham area, there is a Heart Walk at Railroad Park from 8 to 12. And, Publix, it's $99 a year. It's cheaper than Target. So I don't know if you like Publix or Target. I like Publix. Target's probably a little cheaper nationally for certain things. Produce, I agree. Anyway, something to think about. The Heart Walk is at Railroad Park this morning from 8 to 12 if you're looking for something to do. Em would know this. I don't know this. I'm not up on current events. Disgo? Did I say that right? Woodlawn Park? Disgo? No. There is a music event tonight at Disgo Woodlawn Park. Hadn't been there. You hadn't been there either. Okay. I got to go check it out. Oh, at the Stardome Comedy Club, it's either Simon or Simone at the Comedy Club. I haven't been to the Comedy Club since pre-COVID. Have you been? Hadn't been? You ever been to the Comedy Club? You've never been to the Comedy Club? Not once. Okay. Showing my age here. Generational gap. Anyway, that's something to think about. All right, 6:54 on a Saturday, March the 8th, 2025. This is Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram on Birmingham's South Side with M in the house for the rest of the year, and she's sad about it. Folks, call us if you have questions, if you have coffee. If you're just getting home out of the bar, take a Uber. It's a little late, or walk home. And we'll be back at the top of the hour after news and weather, and we're going to have a great guest if he calls in. It's a surprise guest. He is a former judge, and he is a practicing lawyer here in town, and if he's awake, he's going to show up and do this with us, and you are going to be really entertained and informed by his brilliance of the law. So we're going to do that at the top of the hour after news and weather. And then we're going to talk about some other criminal cases locally, and we're going to talk about some other legislation locally that affects us all that we should all care about as Alabamians. And the biggest thing for me, I've got to get that new STAR driver's license. I can't even get on an airplane right now. Where did that come from? I mean, it came out of nowhere. I had to go get my birth certificate so I could get on a plane. Crazy. You have to have a Social Security card, and if you don't have your passport up to date, you have to take a tax return or a utility bill. You have to have 3 forms of ID to get a STAR on your driver's license. Go figure. Anyway. All right, 656. Legal Lowdown, Joe Ingram, Birmingham's road running street lawyer here for you. M's in the house. She's trying to stay awake. I try to keep her entertained. We went from horse and buggy to Target and Publix delivering your groceries. There you go. Call us, 205-439-9372, 205-439-WERC. If you're about to head out to the Heart Walk at Railroad Park. We'll see you at the top hour. Thanks, guys. Bye.
There's another hour of the Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer Joe Ingram heading your way. You can ask your question live on the air at 439-9372. That's 439-9372. Or send Joe your question for air via email at questions@ingramlaw.com. If you need a private legal consultation, contact Joe directly at joeingramlaw.com. Stand by for more of the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram right after news and weather on News Radio 105.5 WERC.
The proceeding has been a paid program. The opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of WERC, management, employees, or advertisers.
Covering Trump's first 100 days. Every day.
We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history.
News Radio 105.5 WERC.
They say someone's always watching, listening, waiting. But what if it's your business they're watching? Your private conversations they're listening to? Your secrets they're stealing? Corporate espionage is real. Fraud is real. Data breaches cost businesses millions, sometimes before they even know what's happening. That's where we come in at spyforrent.com. We don't just find the problem, we stop it. Counter surveillance, forensic accounting, deep background checks, bug sweeps. Our team of experts has decades of experience in intelligence and security. We use state-of-the-art technology to protect your business. Your peace of mind is our priority. Your security is our mission. When you work with us, you're in safe hands. Protect your business before it's too late. If you suspect something, you're probably right. It starts with your free consultation. Find us at spyforrent.com. Because if you don't know who's watching, they already have the advantage.
Doge.
You've been watching Doge.
The Department of Government Efficiency.
Doge is using a meat axe.
As we're finding savings.
Savings. A lot. Billions and billions of dollars. And they're saving.
Saving. What we can save you.
How about daylight?
Daylight saving.
Time to save daylight.
Is time.
They're doing a hell of a job.
When you lose an hour,
The clock's spring ahead.
you'll need it.
Time to find out what they're doing.
Saving time.
Everything you need to know all the time.
And this is an incredible time.
News Radio 105.5 WERC.
News Radio 105.5 WERC Birmingham, WERC FM Hoover, and available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. It's 7 o'clock.
Alabama lawmakers want to speed up cutting back the state grocery tax. A bill in the state house would shorten the timeline for reducing the state grocery tax by 25%. Trussville State Representative Danny Garrett calls it necessary.
We felt like it was important to implement that additional 25% of the grocery tax so that it would benefit taxpayers, because right now everybody's experiencing the high prices at the grocery store.
The 25% reduction is set to kick in this year when state revenue grows by 3.5%. That doesn't look likely, so lawmakers want to reduce it anyway. A second bill would let local governments reduce their local grocery sales tax without revenue growth. Nearly 300 people rally Friday in Birmingham to protest President Trump's pause in funding NIH and other research. It impacts UAB, Alabama's largest employer. Birmingham resident Mara Jambar holding up a sign at the rally saying UAB saved my life twice. A bill in the legislature is big-time controversial. It would let judges sentence felons convicted of rape and murder to only 10 years in prison. Former GOP State Senator Paul DeMarco telling Birmingham's News Radio 105.5 Friday,
Your listeners need to call their state senators and tell them to kill House Bill 43, which will be more of the same in Jefferson County with already a failed criminal justice system.
Some lawmakers worry the bill will put Class A felons back on the street sooner. The bill's already passed the state House in a close vote, and now the state Senate will consider it. Madison County fires a fire department captain after his arrest on animal cruelty charges. Reports say former Captain Brandon McGill was in Madison's county jail briefly in late February. I'm Charlie O'Brien, and this is Birmingham's news, traffic, and weather station, News Radio 105.5, WERC.
A mostly cloudy sky today, a high near 68, a few showers in the afternoon, a better chance for rain overnight and into tomorrow morning, maybe a rumble of thunder, lows in the 40s, and don't forget about the time change as we spring ahead 1 hour for daylight saving time. Highs around 60 tomorrow, cloudy with showers, a low near 40 with more showers tomorrow night and into early Monday, highs on Monday in the 60s. I'm WBRC First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt on your side.
Right now, it's 57 degrees at Birmingham's news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 105.5 WERC.
I've never heard anything like this between any heads of state in the Oval Office.
You're gambling with World War III.
Have you said thank you once? Many of you have been sold that Ukraine was going to win, Vladimir Putin getting removed from power. Disabuse yourselves of that notion.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton get around the table. Talks continue Monday morning at 11 on News Radio 105.5 WERC.
The following is a paid program. The opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of WERC, management, employees, or advertisers.
He's a tough street-fighting lawyer with the highest ratings for honesty and integrity. He's here for you every Saturday morning to answer your legal questions and get you the help you need. You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram of Ingram Law, live from the studios of News Radio 105.5 WERC. Call in now, 439-9372. That's 439-9372, and ask Joe your legal question, or email the show at questions@joeingramlaw.com. Joe Ingram has more than 20 years experience fighting for his clients here in the state of Alabama. Joe's focus is criminal defense and family law. You don't have to face your legal issue alone. You've got Joe Ingram, Birmingham's lawyer, on your side. In case of sensitive legal matters, you can always reach out directly to Joe at joeingramlaw.com and arrange for a private consultation. And now, Birmingham's defender of the defenseless, protector of the people, and all-around good guy, Joe Ingram.
All right. Today's March 8, 2025. We're back in the house at 7:06 a.m. It's 8 in New York, 1 in London, 2 in Paris, Beijing, 9 with T, Tokyo, 10, Wagyu beef. You ever had Wagyu beef? Are you kidding? It's the best beef on the planet. Wagyu beef? Oh my goodness. We're going to talk about Wagyu beef one day. You're looking at me like, what are you talking about? You like beef? Okay. All right. Today is March 8, 2025, and we had a good first hour, and M's still awake. And she's locking in. She's getting loaded. She's getting used to my humor. And we talked about Target versus public delivery of your goods. Oh, Spy for Rent, if you need an investigator. Jeff Hammett, Corey, they're your guys. we have a great guest right now, former judge, lawyer, the man of Shelby County, Judge Philip Bahakel. Judge, you in the house?
I'm in the house. How are you?
Judge, you awake?
I'm awake. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I don't think you're awake, Judge.
Oh, yeah, I'm wide awake.
What time? Judge, what time do you normally get up on Saturday?
Usually I get up around 7 on Saturday.
Okay. Well, I didn't put you out too bad for this.
Oh, heck no. Not at all.
For our guest, this is Judge Philip Bahakel. He was a family court judge in Jefferson County. And now you have your office down in Pelham, Alabama?
I do.
And, Judge, introduce yourself to the Birmingham audience. You have the floor, sir.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Like Joe said, I'm Philip Bahakel. I've got my office on Highway 31 Pelham Parkway, right across from the Walmart in Pelham, Alabama. Been practicing for 44 years. 6 years of those I spent serving the community as a judge. Guess that's a lot to say, isn't it?
For a man with such a brilliant career, you're a man of short words, Judge. Are you nervous?
Well, no, I'm just modest.
Judge, tell the people of Birmingham about the Bahakel name and the legal name of Birmingham. How y'all are entwined.
Most of us older guys, as I call it, know that there's many Bahakels that have served the legal community in Jefferson County. I've got 2 other cousins that served as circuit court judges, Alfred Bahakel and Gloria Bahakel. My uncle, who's still alive, still has some practice of law, and he's in his 90s. And then I've got a cousin, John, who's practicing law in the Birmingham area. So we've got quite a few attorneys that have grown up in Birmingham. I myself was raised in Birmingham on the western side of town.
Where'd you go to high school, Judge?
Went to high school at John Carroll.
Okay, John Carroll. What year did you graduate from Cumberland, Judge?
Cumberland, I graduated from 1981.
Okay.
Fantastic law. My cousins all went to Birmingham School of Law, and it's a great law school as well. So, I mean, Jefferson County has a lot to offer the legal community, both Cumberland and Birmingham School of Law. Fantastic school.
We've talked about this a lot because we've had some cases together the last year or two. Alfred Bahakel, God rest his soul, was a wonderful judge, as were you.
Well, thank you.
I mean, he was the best, wasn't he?
He was. He had the perfect temperament for a judge. He passed away a few years ago.
And you were a great judge. I only had a couple of cases with you when I first started out, but out in family court. Judge, let's talk just for a second about family court, even though I don't think you do family court anymore, and I don't try to do family court anymore. Judge, what's the solution to, is there a way to fix family court, or is it just because of what it is? Yeah, and you know what I'm saying.
I do, and I still handle family court cases. It's just like any other business. You get cases that come in where people need your help in family court, and I still go there. Really, it's not a broken system. People like to think it is. It's not. We just have, when I was on the bench and what I've seen in years afterwards, you just have a massive volume of people that need help and limited resources. And so it's a matter of maneuvering the system with people that know how to maneuver the system. You do a great job when you and I worked on opposite ends of the chairs, opposite ends of the table, representing your people, and you know how to maneuver the system. So it's critical for people to be informed and to know that their attorney understands the system and knows how to work through the system. There's a lot of great attorneys and social workers and judges that are still sitting in family court working their hearts and love for the community and helping people. A lot of times we don't like what happens, but we can't help what the facts and the law are. That's just the way it is.
Yes.
You know that in most cases, Joe. It's just our job as lawyers is to tell the story, and sometimes the story is on our side, and sometimes the story is not on our side.
Yeah,
so,
we can't change the facts, but it's how we present the facts.
Well, yeah. It's being able to fully disclose it to the judge so the judge can make the best decision possible.
Yeah. Judge, I always call you Judge because you know how I feel about that. I'm not ever going to do that to you. Judge, for the audience out there that has a divorce case or a child custody case or a child modification case or a support case or alimony case, you've done this almost 45 years. Talk a little bit about what people have misconceptions about when they hire us as divorce attorneys. What do you see as the biggest misconception out there?
The biggest misconception is that we're there to punish anybody. We're not there to punish anyone. It's a bad situation to begin with, and we're just trying to get closure. A lot of times, even though we're not therapists, part of our jobs is to either refer our clients to someone that is a therapist, or my daughter's a marriage and family therapist, and I refer people to her on a regular basis because of her experience level in us helping our clients to get through the pain. Her name is Tracy LaForte, and she does a fantastic job. But once you get past the anger in the therapy side, it's just a matter of helping to see what's in the best interest of the child, because children deserve both of their parents involved in their lives. And then it's like closing a business, helping to divide the assets and the debts. And people sometimes don't understand that you can't live the same lifestyle separate as you can together. You eliminate 50% of the income source or 50% of the help, you can have a major lifestyle change. And so get past the anger, then get past the fact of, I call it sticker shock, the fact that you're going to have to survive on what little bit of resources, either financial or family support, that you're going to have because you've eliminated one of the entities in that environment. So, and then lawyers are expensive. We know that. But it's like anything else.
You are.
I try to cut people breaks every chance I can. You know, we all have to charge.
I'm kidding.
Charge for our time.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Judge. I'm kidding, Judge. Yeah. Anytime you divide a house, it costs people. Two can live together cheaper than dividing a house. That's just a given.
That's correct. That's correct.
And the only thing you can't divide is a child. You have to fight the child custody case. Is that correct, Judge?
I'm sorry, you have to fight the child custody case?
In other words, we can divide assets all day long. If mom and dad says, I want the children or I want the child, you can't divide the child if you can't work out a custody agreement. That's the case you have to do in front of a judge.
Oh, that's right. You're 100% correct. And a lot of people, for our children's sake, try to do the split custody where you spend during the month equal time with both parents. And if both parents can work together, then that works well for the children. and it's all about the children. It's not necessarily about the parents. It is inconvenient for parents not seeing their children on a daily basis, but the kids deserve to be involved in both parents' lives. And that's the hardest part, because every case is unique to itself. And that's one of the things I used to tell attorneys when they came in front of me when I was on the bench years ago was, when you change the facts, then the conclusion changes. And so like I said, we're storytellers. We have the responsibility to tell the judge the story. And if we're trying a case, make sure the judge has all the facts so that they can make the best decision possible. Kids always suffer in a divorce because of one parent's not going to have as much time with the child as the other. And if they're equal times, it's still the kids are used to spending 100% of the time with their parents, not 50%.
Yeah. Judge, this time of year, I get those calls, and I guess you're getting them too. People are fighting over spring break, and people are starting to fight about summer vacation. Is that the norm in your office as well?
Oh, yes. Holidays for lawyers, domestic lawyers, divorce lawyers, family court lawyers are not necessarily celebrated the way as it is for other family members. We get the phone calls where I'm not getting my child like I'm supposed to, or children like I'm supposed to. They're not interpreting the order right. I'm supposed to get a week and I only get 2 days. It's always a complaint after a complaint. You'll see a lot of law firms I see over the holidays that they basically close down or overwhelmed by the calls because of people misreading or just deciding that they don't want to comply with a court order. I always tell people court orders are not suggestions, they're orders, Some people call it like a suggested speed limit. It says 65, but you don't go 65. Well, a court order, you don't get the same luxury. You need to follow it.
Yeah. There's court orders, and then it's whether we follow the court order, Judge.
That's right. That's right. And for some people, it has to be so detailed that there's no misunderstanding. It's all black and white. If it says 6 o'clock, it means 6 o'clock. It doesn't mean 7:30.
Yeah. Don't you like those? I know you do. You agree with me. When we put that paragraph in there that says that the parties agree to any other time or place if the primary custodial parent doesn't have the child, that the non-custodial parent is allowed liberal visitation. That means that the parents are working together for the best interest of the children. Isn't that correct?
It does. And I always try to encourage parents to work together. I know I had a couple in my office this past week that were talking about what they call an uncontested divorce, where they do all the paperwork, file it, and the judge signs off on it, and they work together. And it was refreshing that they were talking that they want any time agreed to by the parties when it comes to custodial time, and then have the fallback provisions that we always put in there for times that they may be upset with each other and decide that they want to, not be as friendly with each other. But it's refreshing because the children benefit when the parents work together. They realize that they may not be the best parties to be married, but they do realize a responsibility and an obligation to raise children to be the best that they can be. And they were talking about paying for college and all these other expenses that you don't hear from people. So that was very refreshing that they were able to do that. Yeah. And it makes you feel good as a lawyer knowing that you're helping people accomplish what they want to accomplish, knowing that they can't be married, but they don't hate each other, don't want to burn the bridge between each other, and realize that they still have that responsibility to raise children and give them the most opportunities they have to be successful in life.
Yes, sir. two things I want to talk with you about, Judge Bahakel, and for our guest. This is the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, 105 FM, WERC. We have Judge Philip Bahakel, wonderful judge, wonderful divorce lawyer in Shelby County, and comes to Jefferson County. We had a case together last year that was very contentious, and we were both very cordial during that, even though you beat me. I mean, it still bothers me. Judge, talk to the audience about mediation and tell the audience why what they see on TV is not realistic, how great mediation is, and if the parties understand what mediation means. It means you got to come to the middle.
It does. It does. When I served as a judge in Jefferson County many years ago, I realized that with the volume of cases that come in front of a judge, it's impossible to try every one of those cases because there's just not enough hours in a day. Sitting out at the bench, judges normally try to assist lawyers in giving them suggestions about what it would take to settle a case. Well, the mediation process was started years ago in order to make that more formalized. I've settled a lot of cases over the years in mediation that I'm shocking that you couldn't settle. There's a lot of fantastic mediators in the Jefferson and Shelby County area that have a lot of wisdom. The key is to make sure that you pick a mediator that is more suitable to your clients, that will get their attention, because you control the outcome of your case when you settle a case, and you definitely control the outcome of your case in mediation. Mediation on TV is more theatrical for TV. So in the real world, we're going into an office, and if you and I were mediating a case, my client and myself would be in one room of that office, you would be in another room of the office, and the mediator would be going back and forth, trying to work out some type of middle ground that both parties would be acceptable with. And with it being voluntary mediation that we normally go through in these domestic cases, you're not forced as a party or as an attorney to accept the mediated agreement, but it's always in their party's best interest to accept something because they control how their outcome of their case is, both from a custody, visitation, custodial time standpoint, as well as a financial standpoint. Some people have the mistaken impression that once you sign on the dotted line that you can leave and then change your mind. No, it's once you do that and you sign and it's filed with a court, then most judges that I know of will enforce a mediated agreement because the parties reached it in that session. I've got some fantastic people that I'm working with that are doing mediation, and they get the tough job of going back and forth in a confidential setting and trying to broker a deal that works well for everyone. I know the stress involved in trying a case. When you're sitting in front of a judge, all the judges will tell you that they only get a small snapshot of your life, and then they've got to make life-changing decisions to determine how your money is going to be divided and what happens with your children. And that's kind of scary for most people. And even with the appellate process, the appellate court only gets to see what was presented in court and what was filed, pleadings as they call it, in the court record. And it's more of a sterile process where they don't get to observe the witnesses and demeanor and whether you can determine whether somebody is honorable or not in what they're saying. And so it's not a great system, but it's the best system we have. And it's something that I've loved doing for the last 44 years and hope to do it for many, many years to come. We're here to help people, just like you, Joe. You care about the people that you're working with, and you care about the people on both sides of the aisle. And that's the fantastic part about being a lawyer. You're there helping folks. And even though that case that you referenced that I won, it wasn't me winning. It's just the facts were more leaning towards my side than your side. And that was a decision that the judge had to make after a couple of days of trial. Again, the parties would have benefited more by mediating, but when you can't agree on certain things, then you have to go in front of a judge. And you did a fantastic job trying the case. I've told you that many, many times. You're a fantastic lawyer. You care about your people, and you present the story like you're supposed to, because you have honor and integrity, and you're an honest man. So I'm always pleased to deal with you in the legal process, and and outside of the legal process.
Thank you. Hey, Judge. Let me ask you a question about me. Oh, Judge. Hey, Judge, we're going to go to break here in just a minute. Would you hold over? I got two questions I want to talk to you about, and I think the people need to hear this from you because you've done this for 45 years. You have more experience than anybody I know. Can you hold over, Judge?
Yes, sir. Be happy to.
All right. We're going to come back to news and weather. Judge, this is Judge Philip Bahakel. This is Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, 105.5 WERC. You can call in, talk with Judge Bahakel for free. He's expensive, folks. 205-439-9372, 205-439-WERC. We'll be back after news and weather. Em, how much time we got? I'm always off. Have 20. Em, you're going to have to get up on this. I'm 20 seconds off. We'll be back with Judge Bahakel after news and weather. I got two questions for him. Folks, you need to listen to this. This man has been a judge. He's been a divorce lawyer. His family is the fabric of the legal community in the greater Birmingham area and has been for almost probably 50 years. We'll be back. Thanks. Bye.
You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram. If you need confidential legal help off air, reach out to Joe at joeingramlaw.com. Stay tuned for more. Joe will be right back after this break for news and weather on News Radio 105.5 WERC.
Here is my interview with President Trump and Elon Musk from the White House.
This country was headed down a very bad track, and the whole DEI thing, that was a sick trap.
If we don't solve the deficit, there won't be money for medical care. This got to be solved. It's not optional.
America is changing second by second. And nobody is getting this close to Trump and Musk.
That's why I'm here.
Sean Hannity, Monday afternoon at 2 on News Radio 105.5 WERC.
Alabama lawmakers want to speed up cutting back the state grocery tax. A bill in the state house would shorten the timeline for reducing the state grocery tax by 25%. Trustville State Representative Danny Garrett calls it necessary.
We felt like it was important to implement that additional 25% of the grocery tax so that it would benefit taxpayers, because right now everybody's experiencing the high prices of the grocery store.
The 25% reduction is set to kick in this year when state revenue grows by 3.5%. That doesn't look likely, so lawmakers want to reduce it anyway. A second bill would let local governments reduce their local grocery sales tax without revenue growth. Nearly 300 people rally Friday in Birmingham to protest President Trump's pause in funding NIH and other research. I'm Charlie O'Brien, and this is Birmingham's news, traffic, and weather station, News Radio 105.5 WERC.
A mostly cloudy sky today, a high near 68, a few showers in the afternoon, a better chance for rain overnight and into tomorrow morning, maybe a rumble of thunder, lows in the 40s, and don't forget about the time change as we spring ahead 1 hour for daylight saving time. Highs around 60 tomorrow, cloudy with showers, a low near 40 with more showers tomorrow night and into early Monday, highs on Monday in the 60s. I'm WBRC First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt on your side.
Right now, it's 58 degrees at Birmingham's news, traffic, and weather station, News Radio 105.5 WERC.
News Radio 1055 WERC. Make us the #1 preset on your car radio and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. Listen for all your music radio and podcasts. Free never sounded so good.
You're listening to The Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's lawyer, Joe Ingram. Joe is a 20-year veteran of the Alabama courts, specializing in criminal defense and family law. Call in live with your questions now at 439-9372. That's 439-9372. Or write Joe with your question for the show at questions@joeingramlaw.com. If you need a private legal consultation, email Joe at joeingramlaw.com. Now, welcome back to The Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram.
All right. This is The Legal Lowdown, 105.5 FM WERC on the south side. 205-439-9372, 205-439-WERC. If you're tuning in, having your cup of coffee, joining the show, you're in for a treat. We have one of the top divorce lawyers in the greater Birmingham area that we're talking with, Judge Philip Bahakel. Judge, you back?
I'm back.
Judge, got two questions for you that are really important in what we do. What's the longest mediation that you've ever done that you can recall?
I think I've had one for a 2-day period.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Y'all must have had all the issues. Custody, assets.
Well, yeah, we did. Custody, assets, and then there was information that we needed to provide that wasn't provided. They call that discovery. That's one of the best things that you do as a lawyer is that you send out questions for the other side to answer and then ask for the production of documents, and that helps give you a handle on what's out there dealing with assets and what evidence may be existing. And in this case, there are a lot of assets. And so during the mediation process, we were finding out more about financial information that we didn't have before. So we had to go another day once all that documentation was provided so that we could properly divide the assets and the liabilities for the parties.
Okay.
Sometimes it boils down into dollars and cents. But I know you mentioned a couple of times I'm expensive. I said anybody finds lawyers expensive. It doesn't matter what price, what income level you're at. Lawyers are always expensive, and you pay for experience. You know that, Joe. You've been doing this for over 20 years. You pay for experience, and that's what people need. They need experienced lawyers handling their cases because we're handling their lives. Because once we're through with the legal process of what we're doing for the clients, they still get to go on and live their lives. And we need to make sure that they're able to do that and not live under the interstate. Like I tell people, they got signs up there saying now that you can't live under the interstate, but we don't want to put our clients in a position where that's where they have to live. So
I didn't mean, I wasn't disparaging in that you're expensive. You're worth every penny you make. I mean, your experience is worth it. That's what I meant by that. So
I understand. Yeah. I understand. But the average person, when you tell someone an hourly rate, the average person, has sticker shock.
Sticker shock. Yeah.
That's sticker shock.
But we are both reasonably marketed in the Birmingham area for what we do.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. And we both are. Well, you're worth your time any day of the week. So,
well, you are as well. You're modest, and you do a fantastic job when you work with your clients. And that's one of the most impressive parts when we had that trial last year is that you care about what happens to people on both sides. You cared about making sure that your client got what he needed and what he deserved, and you cared about making sure that my client wasn't left high and dry on the street. But you still represent your client very zealously. You do. You did a fantastic job. But that's what separates sometimes, in my humble opinion, this is only my opinion as a former judge, is that would separate a lot of attorneys. The attorneys that care about their clients seem to do better and survive more than the ones that don't. And I think you've seen that as well.
Yes, sir. Okay, Judge, last topic I want to talk about with you. This is really important, and you know why I'm bringing this up today. Protection from abuse orders. We give them out like they're candy now. And I know why we do this. We do this to prevent domestic violence. We do this to prevent somebody getting killed, shot, murdered, raped, robbed. I get it, Judge. PFAs. It takes 6 months to get a PFA to go away. If there's any facts that have merit, and you know what I'm talking about, and it's detrimental to people's lives and careers.
It is, and you know, that whole area is both a political topic as well as a legal topic. I know that both you and I have seen situations where it's been abused, and we've seen situations where it hasn't been abused. But the concept itself is a fantastic concept. The law is a fantastic law, and they've got checks and balances that I've seen that are in place. You know, the magistrate or the judge that receives the facts to determine whether they should issue the order or not. It's always, when I look at them, both from a legal standpoint, and then I try to say, okay, what would a judge do? If a party puts down anything that rises to the level of a potential harm or injury, then you have to issue the PFA. And so you and I see the ones that have been signed. We don't get to see the ones that go through the system that aren't signed. But I know that it's always a scary part for the victim to have to live in an environment that may be dangerous for them. I know I've got one pending right now where I looked at the facts, and it was mentioning things that happened 2 or 3 years ago. And those type of situations, to me, that doesn't rise to the level of having a PFA. And then you see in the very end where it talks about a situation or event that may have happened last week. And I said, well, that rises to the level where there needs to be a PFA. And the key is the legislature put together a system where you have a quick hearing. And the key is being able to get into the court and have that quick hearing so that you could let the judge see the facts and hear the testimony from both sides so that they can make a determination as to whether the PFA should stay in effect. I know Shelby County has a fantastic procedure where if you've got a PFA and then there's a domestic relations divorce case that's pending, they make sure that PFA runs alongside with the divorce case. And I know Jefferson County now is got the PFAs going through the domestic relations court as well. And that's a great, fantastic way of doing it because it's the same judge being able to see what's going on the divorce side, as I call it, or the domestic side, as well as what's going on the personal side that would be addressing the PFA. To me, the abuse that takes place is when you have somebody that's trying to punish the other side, and they'll file something in circuit court for what's called a PFA, then they'll go file something in city court. You've seen that, Joe, in your criminal side. And it's like I'm saying, come on now, you want to be protected, but do you really want to punish this person? This is a person you said you loved, someone that you wanted to live your life with. So why destroy the other side? But then on the other end, you've got to make sure that you're safe and protected. So it's always that fine line. I believe in the system, and I believe that the PFAs are very necessary. And I know they have gatekeepers, as I call it, which are the magistrates and the judges that look at these items and look at these facts and determine whether an order should be entered or not. And you also have other support groups through the court systems that work with the victims from the protection from abuse side. I mean, so they set up a system that's pretty pretty intense. It's just a matter of people getting involved in the system so that they can flush out the ones that should have them and the ones that shouldn't have them. But you're right, the protection from abuse law itself is a very broad, encompassing law, and I call it my interpretation. It's not necessarily the legal interpretation. I would say it's a quasi-type criminal case, because if you violate a judge's order that's a domestic order, you have to file a motion or something to get back in front of the judge for either civil or criminal contempt. With the PFA, if you violate that, it's more immediate and direct, where you can be arrested for the violation.
Yeah, you can get jail time for violating the PFA. One last thing, Judge. I'm sorry to hold you over, but I want to talk about this because this is important to you. Talk about the good work you do related to about your daughter, special needs, how involved you are in that. I know that's close to your heart, Judge.
It is. I've got a special needs daughter and I've got a special needs grandson. Both of them need, daily supervision, control. I mean, it's a 24/7 type situation when you're dealing with special needs kids or adults. I'm also involved with the United Cerebral Palsy State Organization. I'm honored to be the state president for 2 years. And I do that because it's giving back to the community. The UCP organization is a statewide organization, and they help kids, newborn type kids that have been diagnosed with certain disabilities, all the way through adults. And there are different programs across the state. It's a fantastic organization. You have, as a parent of a special needs child, special needs adult child, and a grandfather of a special needs child, it gives you a different perspective when you're dealing with family law issues, either on the juvenile court side or domestic relations divorce side, because, we're there to take care of our children. And when people argue about the small things, as I call it, as to whether somebody's there at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, I'm saying, come on, we're parents. We're supposed to love and take care of our children. We don't get to, when they turn 19, they don't go away. They're still your children. You're still there to help them. But I love working in the special needs community because, you've got a lot of parents that are struggling with issues with kids or with adults that are special needs. And you're able to help them through these organizations like UCP. And there's a lot of great organizations helping special needs kids and adults out throughout the state. But it's always a matter of funding, too. There's always fundraising issues. There's always issues getting federal and state money. These programs are expensive to run. And that's one of the things I learned working in the organization is that if you don't have folks in the state, both in the legislature as well as in your homes, that are open and kind-hearted and loving, that want to help the programs, and programs don't exist. There's a lot of fantastic people in these programs that are working, that are giving their all to help provide a life for these special needs people. I know one of the funniest things with me with my daughter is when we go out to eat, I'm there trying to make sure that she is eating appropriately, and then you have these waiters or waitresses coming to me saying, because she's in her 40s now, coming to me saying, "Why are you being so hateful to that person?" And all I'm just saying is, you can't have, ice cream for dinner, and they're going, "Oh, he's being mean." I'm going, "No, she's a special needs child. She looks like an adult, but she's a special needs child." And you're always protective of your children, no matter what age they are.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, that was Judge Philip Bahakel. He has been a part of the Birmingham legal community for 50 years. Isa Bahakel, got to watch him try a case. Fantastic lawyer. And Judge Bahakel, thank you for doing this. Thank you for taking your Saturday morning time to have this conversation. People that we represent, Judge, needed to hear this, not from me, but from you. because you're wiser than me. So thank you.
Nah. Well, it's an honor to be on your program, and I look at the legal profession as a service to the community. It's an honor to serve people. I was honored to be a judge and enjoyed the time on the bench. As stressful as it may have been, it's giving back to the community. And I think lawyers, for me, being a lawyer is giving back to the community, helping people survive in times that they're in the most stressful part of their lives. And Joe, you do a fantastic job with the people you work with. I know I've referred cases to you, and you've done a fantastic job with everybody. I mean, I'm glad you're part of the legal community. Thank you for being there.
Thank you, Jay. Checks in the mail. Checks in the mail, Judge. You have a great Saturday, and I'll talk to you soon, Your Honor. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you for having me
All
on the show.
right. Judge Philip Bahakel works primarily in Jefferson and Shelby County, and he can go anywhere. What a wonderful guest we just had with Judge Bahakel. This is the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram on 105.5 FM WERC. We didn't have any callers today. If you're going out today, you can do the Heart Walk at Railroad Park from 8 to 12. There is a concert out. I can't pronounce this. Disco? Bang? You ever heard of that? That's new to you too? You're supposed to know this. You and him. Woodlawn Park. There's a concert out there tonight. I may go check it out just to see what it's about and report back to you. And then, have you been to the comedy club? You hadn't been to the comedy club either. We're going to do a field trip to the comedy club. B. Simone or B. Simon, if I got it wrong, I apologize. B. She's at the Stardome Comedy Club tonight. A lot of people haven't done that since COVID, but it used to be a really good event. Do you remember Melrose Place? They had the Melrose Place final at the comedy club. That place was packed out for that. Do you remember that, Em? She's going, no, I don't know what Melrose Place. Have you ever heard of Beverly Hills 90210? Melrose Place was the adult version of Beverly Hills 90210 in 1990 to 1993. You probably weren't born yet. No, she's going, no, I wasn't born yet, Joe. Go look up Melrose Place. That was the show in the time. Anyway, we've had a great Saturday morning. It's 7:51 on the south side. I get to go do my thing here in about 12 minutes. I'll be out running. Bang. I had another wonderful week. People trying to kill me with a car. They're riding down the road looking at their cell phone. They're texting on their cell phone. They're running through the crosswalks. I don't get it. I mean, just kids, put your phone down. Put the phone down and look at the road. It's dangerous out there. It's dangerous this time of year. Everybody's ready for spring break. I think everybody in colleges are headed for the beach next week. And hopefully we get some work done. We are inundated at work. I'm not complaining. I'm very blessed. I think we had 10 new cases this week. We are covered up like nobody's business. But if you need us, give us a call, 205-335-2640. Look us up on the web, joeingramlaw.com. We do criminal law, state, municipal, federal, Huntsville, Montgomery, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Mobile, and the Dothan area. And we will represent you wherever you are. Our motto has always been, have bag, will travel if you can pay the freight. We'll be there for you. Some thoughts I have about spring, because time changes tomorrow. Yes. Everybody will be upset Monday morning because they'll go, oh, I'm sleepy. I'm sleepy. I'm not used to being up this hour. You got to get up earlier than me. Both of y'all get up earlier than me, don't you? Yeah. Yeah, you do. Spring quotes. Spring is nature's way of saying, let's party. Robin Williams. I miss Robin. The biggest adventure in life one can have is to live the life of your dreams. Oprah Winfrey. I like Oprah. Life is short and the world is wide. Explore, discover. Mark Twain. That's about 200 years ago. I like Mark Twain. This gentleman I don't know. A vacation is having nothing to do and having all day to do it. I like to go on vacations. I can only do 4 days. About the 5th day, I go into meltdown mode because I'm thinking, nobody in the office is working. That's why I'm putting cameras in the office so I can sit there and watch them. Not that I'm being mean, but if you're not there, Joe's away, the mice will play. Is he coming in today? Is he in the house? Is he in the neighborhood? Is he in the state? The other day, somebody said, is Joe in Greater Birmingham? No, he's not here. Where is he? We ain't telling you where he is because you ain't working. I'm kidding, folks, at the office. It's a joke. Spy for Rent, Jeff Hammock, Corey the Investigator out working now. Some people, you about to get served with papers this morning. Happy Saturday. It's been a great week. We've talked about a lot of good news. We talked about the gentleman in South Carolina that chose a bullet in the head as opposed to lethal injection. We've talked about Leslie Scrushy the other day that said that they were prosecuted and that the U.S. Attorney's Office did it intentionally and did the closing arguments on 666. I don't think 666 had anything to do with the closing argument in a federal criminal jury trial. I can assure you that. I've done that a couple of times. And we talked about Ben Affleck and Jennifer Gardner. I'm going to make you a nickel bet. You won't be here this time next year, Bang. I may not either. I may not be back next week. They may kick me out of the room. Jennifer Gardner and Ben Affleck get remarried in 26. He's going, no, I don't think it's going to happen. You don't think it's going to happen? I got a nickel. Jennifer Gardner, quote, Ben Affleck was the love of my life. He's like, I don't care. I'm telling you, they're going to reunite. I don't know why, but they're going to. Jennifer is a nice lady. I've watched some of her videos. She played she did this video. She was in a marching band. Am's going 1 minute. Shut up, Joe. Okay. We'll talk about Jennifer Gardner and the marching band next week. It's been a great week. If you need us, give us a call. JoeIngramLaw.com. This is the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, 105.5 FM on the South Side. Bang's leaving the house. M's in the house. I got to find a way to keep her awake, keep her interested, keep her motivated. If you go on spring break, please, parents, watch your children. Don't get humped up and make a bunch of bad decisions this week. Don't do that. Have a good week. I'm going to go run. Bye.
Thanks for tuning into the Legal Lowdown with Birmingham's own Joe Ingram of Ingram Law. Don't forget to follow Joe's Legal Lowdown podcast on iHeart. If you need a private legal consultation, reach out to Joe on his website, joeingramlaw.com. Tune in again next Saturday at 6 a.m. for the Legal Lowdown with Joe Ingram, exclusively on News Radio 105.5 WERC.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by any other lawyer.